Welcome back to Terror Takeover, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, disgusting, and horrifying. I'm your host, Crow.
Sure.
And I'm Zoe.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again. Sorry again for taking last week off. It was just like a lot going on, what with the holidays and everything. So we're happy to be back. We've been kind of looking forward to it. I have anyway, and we've been having a little bit of extra time to work on this episode, so I think we're gonna probably talk your ear off. I hope you're ready to have a full-blown chat. How have you guys been this week?
I've been good. I'm so happy. Well, this week really just started for me since it's Tuesday. It's my first day back at work in a while. I've been on break and it's been so nice. I actually have been at your house for quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
We did our gifts. You loved your gift. Makes me really happy.
I did.
I loved all
really
of my
did.
gifts. Oh my gosh. I should have brought them out to show, but maybe I'll have to post them on the page. But your dad got me a very cool incense holder. You got me a very cute pink. I'm calling it a decanter because that's what it is.
Have you been using it?
Yes, every night. It's my permanent thing for sure. I love it.
I love it.
And the perfume. Love both of them. Also, I've just been giving people gifts and they all love them. Really, for me this year it's all about giving gifts and everyone loved theirs so far, so I'm happy. And I'm just happy to be back at home, back in my routine, getting my life back together. So yeah, been a good week.
So yeah, I think I agree with you too. Like, it really was the year of giving for me. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm always excited to give, but I feel like this was the first year that I actually did a decent job. Like, I don't know. I'm really self-conscious. I know you say that, but I'm super self-conscious about gift giving. I feel like for me, when I give a gift, I want it to I don't know, I want it to feel very personal to the person that I give it to. And I think I did a pretty good job this year. I'm excited about it. I try to give people things that I would be I would also like that. I know that it's something that people would like, but at the same time, I want it to be personalized to every person. And I should mention what you got me before we leave everybody hanging. Charlotte got me and my husband an hour-long couples massage. I'm so excited because I need it so bad. I have just a lot of really messed up back stuff going on, and Kai does too, so this literally is so perfect. And if my car wasn't in the shop right now, I would have gotten it done already. So there's that, but unfortunately I do have to wait to get it back.
I should have done an Uber gift card with the gift.
That would have been the perfect timing. No, it's cool, but that's also a really good idea. I never thought of that as a birthday present. An Uber gift card or a DoorDash is another really good one.
Who doesn't use that stuff,
Yeah, at this point I use DoorDash regularly. I buy the Dash Pass and everything now too.
Girl, I just got the Dash Pass yesterday.
Did
I was
you?
Crow would be proud. I was I've ordered at least once a week, so I might as well just get it,
You definitely save money.
We'll see.
And then also, you live in Houston. It's you have to.
It's extra
Wait,
worth
oh my
it.
gosh. Hold on. Should I take that out? I don't know if you don't want me to dox you, actually.
Oh, no, I don't care. I mean,
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
No, I don't care. I really don't care. I've met so many internet characters. Did I ever tell you when I went to Raw that one time and this guy was like, "Hey, are you the Char from Facebook?" And I was like, "What?
Not the Char from Facebook."
Excuse me? Literally, I was like, "You don't know me, but we're in the same group, Jerb." And I was like,
"Okay,
no.
Anyways,
you don't need to know me."
Yeah, very concerning.
I looked dusty as hell too, so I was like, "Wow, you're really recognizing."
The worst is when you meet somebody that you met online, in person for the first time, and you look like shit. That's the worst thing ever.
God forbid! I can't have y'all thinking I'm worse in person. God forbid!
Awful.
No, y'all should see my going to the gas station fit.
I feel like you always let me.
No, Crow, you saw that fit that one time. I was like, is this too much? I had on some bright blue sweatpants.
Maybe
with the shirt that just did not coordinate. It's I don't know, some Birkins or something.
Some Birkenstocks.
Birkenstocks.
I was about to say, if you got Birkins for your gas station fit,
you good,
girl. Yeah, she's doing okay.
You good. Don't get robbed over there, Lord.
Yeah, I feel like you always look put together though. I don't know, even whenever you're not fully trying or whatever.
Overall, I felt like Christmas was really, really nice this year. We pretty much got to spend it all with each other, so that's so important to me.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, I just learned more and more about it. I'm like, it's really not about the gifts. I really just enjoy being around people that I care
know.
about.
Yeah.
And it's just so festive and fun. And the gift that you got me personally, the perfume.
Do you use it? Do you like it?
Every day.
It's so
Every
pretty.
day.
I was
Breakfast,
like, this
lunch, and
is
dinner.
so
Cute.
I love that. I'm so
So
happy that
good.
you liked it. And I agree with you. Like, I know that probably sounds really corny to people, but it honestly is the truth. Like, well, I think the year that I started getting more excited about the gifts that I was giving rather than getting is whenever I really started like allowing myself to be able to like enjoy what I feel like you're supposed to enjoy about Christmas or whatever. And I think that might also coincidentally be why I was like so much more excited this year and maybe last year than I was like previous years, is just because I allowed myself to not be a Scrooge, I guess, which I typically am. And it's nice to feel positive about something. So So, guys, we do not have any horror news prepared for you this week because we have such a stacked episode coming up that we didn't want to waste any time. So we're probably just going to jump right into it. Are y'all cool with jumping right into it?
Oh, I'm so down.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Absolutely. So this week, guys, we wanted to do kind of a 2023 horror wrapped where we talk about movies, just horror movies in general that came out this year. And we're going to talk about the ones that we loved, the ones that we kind of liked, and the ones that we were not big fans of. And I'm so excited to get into it because I actually am really bad about keeping up with movies. So I don't really watch them like right when they come out. Char knows this. I am the type of person that takes a lot of coaxing. So I actually watched not all of these, but the majority of these over the course of the past couple of weeks. Um, so they're all like pretty fresh in my mind as well. Yeah. But I was like shocked by how many of these that I really enjoyed. So let's go ahead and get into them. I like wrote them out in alphabetical order. So just so that way if I wanted to go back and look for something, I could find it.
Yes.
Probably the first one that we saw this year as well was Evil Dead Rise. And me and Char actually watched that one in theaters together with my husband. What did you think about that one, Char?
First of all, I have never seen any of the Evil Dead franchise, so this was like
That's
my
true.
first movie jumping
Yeah,
in.
I forgot.
So I'd probably like so I probably should have been prepared for how much gore and like just nonstop boom, 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 boom was gonna be. I caught on very quickly. It was a fun time. Like I've never been to a movie that had me like I feel like I was on a roller coaster. Like I was literally anxious the whole time, glued to my screen, heart pounding. Like at no point could I just chill. But I thought that what was it? What's the word for it? The special effects makeup and everything was really well done for all the characters. Like
yes,
great demon possession. What's such a weird thing to say, but great possession makeup.
Yeah, for sure.
Great like blood. I'm sure they used buckets everywhere. And even the story was pretty good. Like obviously, like I said, I haven't seen the movies, like the whole franchise, so I don't know the story, but I could pretty much gather that how it connects to the last one and how they set up for the next one. So I thought it was good overall.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was like a great installment to the franchise. I've seen all of the movies, and I think that a lot of the things that people have issues with the newer ones, which I will actually admit that I haven't like heard of a whole lot of people that haven't been liking them, which is nice. But I feel like the issue that people do have is that it's not the same thing as the old one, which obviously it's not the old movie. It's a new movie, you know, it's going to be different, and that's okay. It's fine. I think that what's really cool about the Evil Dead franchise right now is that they're working so hard on the world building. And I think that they're doing it in a way that's really successful because you could really believe how each movie is tying in together, as well as the families and the groups of people. And I'm referring to the last new one that came out as well. I feel like they're believable groups of people. They're likable groups of people as well for the most part, especially with Evil Dead Rise. Like this family was so wonderful that you felt so guilty. Right. They were all, every single one of them was incredible. You just felt so guilty for all the things that were happening to them. Oh, and like you said, progressive, what I think is really cool about that as well for this movie is that I feel like it was progressive in a way that was realistic. Like it was like, this is a scenario that would happen. It didn't feel like it was just so like they were trying too hard or like pandered or anything. Like it really felt comfortable and natural. And I just thought it was so good. I really liked this one. It's definitely in my best for sure.
Yeah, no, I thought I didn't get to have the opportunity to see it in theaters like you guys. actually had to pay for it, but we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, so sorry.
No, I thought it was really good. And like what Charlotte was saying earlier, how she's never seen any of the franchises. I think that's an awesome way to start it off, because now you probably want to go back and watch the rest of them.
Right.
Which Evil Dead is a really, really great franchise, in my opinion. I think it's one of the best horror movies of all time. But yeah, that was.
What is the story that ties them together? If either of you can just like one sentence it.
Well, I don't know that I could one sentence it,
or two, but 2 to 3. A short paragraph.
Basically, it kind of is based around like this book,
the Necronomicon.
Right. And if you kind of like activate, I don't know what a better word for that would be, but if you activate the book, then basically the Deadites just start fucking everything up, basically. And it starts happening really quickly, which is my favorite thing about the Evil Dead franchise. Is like,
they got right into
immediately
it.
when stuff starts going downhill, it's like immediately everything is awful. And so what I think is really cool about the whole world building thing as well is that it's like in a completely different scenario every time, as far as like with the newer movies that are coming out. Like this scenario is so ridiculous compared to like the original movies. Like it's a cat, like some old cabin, you know, I think they found the book in the basement of the old cabin. And then in this one, it's like in the tunnel. It was like in a subway tunnel or something, like an abandoned subway tunnel or something in their apartment or whatever.
Yeah, it was something like within their apartment building that they were exploring that they weren't supposed to be, and they just stumbled upon it in like the rummage or ruinage or whatever. And then they brought it back in with them to the house and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was super cool that it was like a more like kind of like modern take on it. In a way, like I said, that didn't feel like it was trying too hard.
Yeah, it wasn't like on their iPhone or something.
Please.
That would have been so cringe.
I cannot.
I've seen people modernize the movies, not like I don't know if y'all have ever seen, it came out in 2021. It was like a newer Texas Chainsaw movie.
I didn't, I knew that's what you were going to say. I haven't seen that one yet. Because I saw the scene with the phones.
Did I see it?
I think you did.
Was it the one that I saw?
I think you did, yeah. Well, that was, wait, what?
Was it X or something?
No. It was the new Texas Chainsaw one that's on Netflix.
Oh,
yes.
I think I did though. I think so. Let me look it up. But I think I did because I remember being like,
man,
yeah, that was no.
Did you like it?
No way I did.
No.
Yeah, sorry. No, she said no.
Look, okay. Sorry, guys. Lipstick on my teeth.
That's the only funny. Problem she said no.
The only problem I had with that film was, look, I used to be like such a Debbie Downer when it came to like remakes. Like I kind of always go by the screen saying like don't fuck with the original type shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to open my mind, open to some new horizons, because I have seen newer age films that I really, really enjoy. But that one, it was just way too modern. Like there was just this one scene, and it's just
with the cell phones and the Leatherface on the bus. Oh, yes, yeah, it's in the trailer.
Taking pictures, like look, and I'm like, what is going on?
And then
driving away in the Tesla. I'm just like,
stop. Okay, I have to watch it. Oh my god, not the Tessie. Yes, I have to watch it just to say that I did. But I agree with you. Yeah, that's definitely. It looks like it's like pretty like a little too modernized. So this one I'm really excited to talk about. I know I say that before every movie, but I really liked this movie and I kept hearing about it and people kept telling me to watch it, but I just never did. I don't know why, but I finally watched Infinity Pool. Loved it. Loved it. And I know it wasn't for everybody, but this is very much my kind of movie. I'm not surprised. There's a lot of over the top gore and like sexual stuff. Very much sexual stuff, but I don't mind that. I expect a lot of like, you know, over the top special effects because it is a Cronenberg, directed by a Cronenberg. So I knew that it was going to be totally off the wall and bonkers. But I thought it was amazing. I didn't think any of it was, I know this is going to sound so crazy and a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me on this, but I didn't think it was too much. I thought it was like what the movie needed. And also I am such a huge Alexander Skarsgård fan. Like everybody who knows me knows I love True Blood, and I love seeing him in other things in more serious roles. And then I think it goes without saying that I love Mia Goth, and she did such an incredible job as Gabby in the movie. She looked amazing, and she was so unhinged and crazy. I thought it was just incredible. I really, really liked the movie. I will say that watching the trailer, like you don't really know what to expect at all because it doesn't really like give much away. So if it was one of those movies where you were like, I don't know if it's for me, if you like things that are over the top, check it out. Just do it. It's so good. And I kind of watched it like almost 2 times because Charlotte started watching it again, and I kind of just like peeked in a little bit. Love it. Highly recommend. That's definitely one of my tops for 2023.
Yeah, Mia Goth has definitely become the it girl in the horror movie scene.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It's just, and I know it's all around TikTok right now, but she looks so much like Shelley Duvall. It kind of like throws me off a little bit sometimes.
Oh, maybe in the eyes. She's got that like craze, like like thing going on. But
she's just cool. I mean, I thought the movie was really, really interesting. It had like kind of like a cool science fiction vibe to it.
Yeah, totally.
I was kind of stunned by, and it had like very good imagery. I mean, I feel like Mia Goth is very like, she's very mysterious, very hypnotic. Totally. And I mean, like you said, she's just absolutely crazy. So
off the wall.
I like all of those things in one.
Yeah. I think the thing about her character that I liked so much is you could tell something was not right from the start. From the minute you met her, is like something is not right, but what exactly is it? And then shit just started going way left, and it was like, okay, she's absolutely insane. She's crazy as hell. James, crazy.
Yeah. I feel like that movie is gonna be like one of my best of the Okayest, honestly.
Right. I knew you weren't crazy about it.
So it's so weird because I remember I was probably the main one that was like, we have to watch Infinity Pool. It's so good. It's so good. Definitely super love Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth being in it. They were gorgeous. I love the whole concept. Like the movie essentially is just about this island that they go to where they have this cultural custom of, I don't want to like spoil it because it is only on the year out, but I don't know. Whatever. We're going over movies that came out. If you haven't seen it already, too bad. Essentially, they allow people to pay for their crimes in a very, very gruesome way. And I feel like they could have talked more about that. They could have talked more about the customs. They could have gone more into the characters. Because honestly, I don't leave the film like feeling bad for anybody or feeling like anything like was resolved per se. Like this horrible experience happened and now everyone's going home and like, damn, that's crazy, essentially. The visuals were incredible. Like you guys said, they were super beautiful. There's like tons of orgies, tons of hallucination scenes, tons of like full-blown libertine, just like screaming mania. And I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. But really, truly, when you move all that, like what's actually happened in the story? And there's really not much, unfortunately. Which, again, for the plot, kind of sucks. Like there's so much more that could have been done, you know?
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Do you disagree?
I so disagree so hard. Well, I mean, I think that that's a fair statement to make because a lot of what's happening is just like a lot of crazy stuff. I feel like it's one of those movies where if you know too much about the characters, it's just like not necessary in my opinion. I think like what makes it interesting is that you don't know that much about them, just because there's probably not that much going on in their lives other than this like one trip that they take every year. I will say I agree with you that you don't feel bad for anybody by the end, but I don't think you're supposed to. I think you're kind of supposed to be like, the entire vibe of it is like, these are terrible people doing horrible things. And I think you're supposed to kind of look at it from the standpoint of the people who live on that island. So if you think about at the very beginning, you know how like whenever they're just like on the beach and then this local comes through with like the dirt bike, just like making a scene. I think that's like a response to like, tourists are coming to our country and with essentially, if they have money, with essentially zero punishment, they can do whatever they want, and they're literally ruining our country because they're killing innocent people. I think the whole idea was like to be disgusted by how lavish everything was and by how over the top like you can get away with anything. it was. And I thought, for me, I've like kind of mentioned this to like Charlotte in the past, that like I have like an existential crisis like once a week. And um the whole idea of like alternate dimensions and stuff, and like okay, so like there's this theory, I don't remember who it is it Schrodinger or something, but it's like every there's like an infinite number of universes in which you've made like a different decision in like every single one of them at any given point in your life. So it can literally be like, in one universe, like the alternate me didn't scratch her face just now or something, and just everything like continues from there. I think that there is something really horrifying about the idea of like, who is the real me, and who is the person that doesn't deserve to suffer, because if one of me is suffering, there's still that version of me that believes that I'm suffering, you know what I mean? So I think, I know that like is really crazy to like try to explain, but I think that that's already a concept that I've already been like really interested in. So I think that this movie hit me in a way that was like a little bit of a tender spot. But maybe that's why it stuck with me so much. And if that's not something that plagues you, then it probably wouldn't be very interesting for sure.
No, maybe it's like your Midsommar, dude. Like it was the perfect time and place to see that movie and its depth. Because I agree with you that I wish that they had leaned more into that, more of the discussion of like who deserves to live, like who really is the bad guy. I think the one scene towards the end where the main character is kind of like really facing themselves, essentially. That
I
really
think that was supposed to be the
there was just a lot of the movie that wasn't spoken, I guess. No, you're fine. There's a lot of movie that wasn't spoken, a lot of ideas that were communicated like in a very highbrow artsy way, but like I don't know, any movie where I find myself looking up what the movie is about is going to put me in a questionable spot. So I like to think that I'm a person that can understand things pretty well. And then also I just feel like, so there definitely was not supposed to be a good guy from the movie. Like obviously it is a movie about like bad people, but there just wasn't really, I just can't see what the artist was trying, what the author, what the Cronenberg brother was trying to get across. Like, I mean, I've already seen White Lotus. I've already seen like a million different ways to iterate that rich people are bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of the people of this town were against what they were doing and how much of it was like, all right, rich white people want to come here and like murder people. Fuck it. Let's give them some money, Like they could easily stop their practice, I don't know. And apparently they all just like planned on coming back. But anyway, I don't know. These are all just thoughts I had. Overall, I definitely agree it's a good movie. I would still say probably like out of 10, it's probably like a 7 for me. It's still definitely good. I just think more could have been fleshed out.
Just wasn't your favorite for sure.
It just wasn't enough meat on the bone for me. But
right,
it was still
I hear
a good
you.
Movie. Still good. Sorry,
Absolutely.
I'm like ranting about this one movie.
No, you're good. No. I thought
I'm glad
that
it meant a lot to you.
I knew this was one of those movies we'd be talking a lot about. Because there is, I mean, if you've seen it, then you can understand why. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like
even if you didn't like it,
together.
You have a bunch of things to say about it. That's like the kind of like thing with this movie.
For sure. There were so many good visuals though. So many good scenes, so many good art. Also she's, I mean, not to overshadow her, but Cleopatra Coleman, I'm guessing that was the wife. She also did a great job. I mean, I didn't really feel bad for her either, even though
I
she
didn't
was
either,
like the most
which is crazy.
Over. Yeah.
Well, I think like that was the other thing is like I was thinking like maybe they want you to feel bad for that character, but she was kind of a dick too. So it was like in a lot of ways it's like her husband may be like kind of a loser or whatever, when you get right down to it, but
don't get with the art hoe if you don't want to spend money. Let's just put that out there. Daily lesson, folks.
Hey, you didn't hear it from me, folks.
I learned that today, okay? Do not get you an art baddie if you ain't trying to pay.
Very true. Very
Most
true.
People do not work.
Very true.
No, I'm just playing. But anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Also, I'm just going to say, I don't know. I feel like, now I'm just like losing it, but I feel like I would definitely fall for that kind of situation. If some baddie just pulled up to me at a random vacation spot and was like, hey, what's your vibe? I would just go along. Like, whatever she's on, I'm with it. So I know it'd be a situation. I know.
I think I would start going along with it up into a certain point. But I think literally the point where they're like, let's sneak out of the resort would be like, where it'd be like, I think I'm good.
Oh, no.
I'm going to go ahead and chill
on that.
If
me, I'd probably be like, oh, no. What y'all doing up in here? I'd be like, oh, whoops, this ain't for me. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Gotta go.
Yeah. But I get it though. I get the vibes. Like it's definitely like he was looking for inspiration. So it was definitely like he was just perfectly susceptible to that kind of cult type behavior.
Damn, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I know his wife was like, oh, you're into this, you think this is cool, but honestly, Dude, I kind of think it's fucking cool. It's a lot to think about, a lot to take in. And what would you do if you could do whatever you wanted to, and just paid money to get we've been asking that question for years. That's what Westworld was all about.
Well, that's what's literally going on in the world right now. Is people are people are literally doing whatever they want because they're rich.
No, yeah, on God, we just don't have body doubles yet. But
yeah, oh my gosh, as far as we know. Okay,
next one.
This one I actually saw today. And I liked it. I thought it was cute. I hate to use the word cute, but Insidious, The Red Door. I liked the movie. I thought it was good. It's another one of those movies that's kind of feel good, but I feel like it's not super cheesy. Right. It's a little wholesome, happy type of situation. But I don't really mind at this point. Not everything for me has to have a super depressing ending or anything. I don't mind a happy ending once in a while.
Right.
I think that this movie did tie up a lot of the loose ends in the Insidious universe. And I've never really been one of those people that's super into the Insidious franchise. I was always more of a Conjuring girly. So, but I did appreciate it. I liked it. And I'm happy that I watched it. It also wasn't a super hard watch. I feel like it just went by pretty quickly.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind you on that. I'm honestly a really big fan of James Wan, and I've seen all the Insidious movies over and over again. And when I watched this one, I was so excited. I was like, Thorn, you have to watch this one with me because it's all the OG people. This shit is about to go down, okay? But I do agree that I just feel like it was missing. Something was missing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was the lack of action or and also like you said, I just felt like it was very fast paced in my opinion. They kind of rushed the movie a little bit. I'm like, wait, that's it?
Yeah.
But
it was 2 hours.
Doing there.
That's the crazy thing. It wasn't even a short movie. It was a long movie. Well, I mean, 2 hours for me is long.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But I think that anytime you take a movie where it's looking at 2 different POVs, basically, I think at that point it starts to get hard to get a lot done unless it's a really long movie. And so you're looking at the perspective of both Josh and Dalton. So it's kind of how much can you get done on either storyline, in that amount of time? But for what it was cute. I liked it. Was feel good.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
I was
for sure,
nice and tidy.
I was trying to figure out. I know in the beginning, Carl, basically one of Elisa's friends, the clairvoyant, he made them forget about the further. But then I kind of got confused whenever Dalton was older and he had resentment towards his dad. I'm just trying to think where did that come into play? Did he forget everything? Even the relationship with his father? I'm just trying to remember certain aspects, why he was so angry.
Right, because I was thinking kind of the same thing. What I assumed is it's just because it's probably because of the divorce is what I was thinking. How kids always not kids, but I know stuff like that. I was wondering if it was just tension that was based in that, or if I was thinking maybe he did have an inkling, because it seems throughout the movie he kind of is trying to bring these memories back. So maybe they never really fully left, and he kind of always had those thoughts within him, and maybe he didn't even necessarily understand why he felt that way.
Right. I thought it was a really nice touch. Towards the beginning of the film where he's, drawing and just doing his thing. And then I remember from the first Insidious, that's all he did was draw when he was a kid. So the fact that he's an artist, as he's going to college, I think that's amazing. That's just that was a wholesome moment.
That's super cute. Yeah. And then also it's the same actors, right? Or no? Yeah, that's crazy, because I was
the same.
That has to be. That is just so cute that they both grew up to just be super adorable and as adults as well. So I think that just really worked out perfectly. This one I watched, I think yesterday, Saw X. I liked it.
Nice.
It's definitely one of my, I would say that's also one of my best. I don't know. I like any Saw movie that has backstory building. I think that's kind of the best part about Saw, in my opinion, is why is this happening, and stuff like that. I think that it's also something that's so interesting about the franchise is how much we touch on like who's really in the wrong here, and obviously to a level, Jigsaw is very much in the wrong for the things that he's doing to people. But in the same way, it's like he always has his certain justification for it. So like the different things, I don't know. And you don't necessarily have to agree with them, but that's just how the movie goes. I will say, out of like the Saw movies that I have seen, which admittedly I haven't seen every single one, but I've seen the majority of them. Some of the scenes in this one were like way more, I'm not necessarily going to say way more gruesome than I expected, but even though I knew what to expect because it was a Saw film, I was like, wow, that's a lot, you know? It was good though. I will also say that like Amanda is like my favorite character from the franchise. So it was really exciting to see more of her. And she looks super cute with her like little tiny pixie cut. And I love her and Jigsaw's relationship. I love seeing anytime that it's spoken about because it is in some sick, twisted way very heartwarming. So I did appreciate that. And it's also one of the only movies in which you actually like really genuinely like feel bad for Jigsaw, I feel like, to be honest, like, or for John Kramer, that is.
I don't know. I feel like I thought the film was really good in my opinion. I wish I would have seen it in theaters because they were giving away like the little popcorn buckets.
Yes.
But you know, you win some, you lose some.
I know.
Yeah.
But no, not just like with this film, but like with the other films in general. The one film where they were kind of giving some information on his backstory, where he got in a car accident and, you know, his wife, unfortunately, I kind of felt bad for him towards like the beginning. Like I was like, okay, this man has been through some shit, you know.
Yeah, but he's just done so many awful things.
So many.
Man.
It was getting out of hand. It was getting out of hand.
Yeah, it was a solid movie though. I mean, I'd say it's definitely up there with some of my favorites from the year, as far as like horror, that is. This next movie was talked about so much, and so many people were saying that it was one of the scariest movies from this year. So the movie we're talking about is Talk to Me. There was so much hype surrounding this movie that I didn't know what to expect at all. And you can't really honestly prepare yourself for the movie, even with the trailer, because there's a lot of very shocking scenes. I liked the movie. It's definitely one of my best from the year. I thought it was thought-provoking and it was really well done as well. Of course, it's an A24 film, so that's to be expected. I will say that it was one of those movies where like I just wanted to yell at the characters through the TV so bad for making the worst decisions ever.
Possible.
The worst. But then at the same time, I kind of was like, damn, if I was a teenager, like I would have absolutely made those same decisions, like 100%. Like, and of course, as adults, we're looking back and it's like, like all the people you were trying to impress doesn't matter. And like, look what you were willing to go through just to be popular or whatever. But it's like, okay, like, yeah, I mean,
is that Goober? Is that me?
Yeah.
Maybe it sounds like maybe it's Goober. It's okay,
I think
though.
so, because the purple bar.
He just wanted to say hello.
Hi.
Yeah, moral of the story for this movie is teenagers are dumb as hell and do crazy shit. But it was a good movie, and it was a scary movie. It wasn't as scary as I thought it'd be just from all the hype. But it was genuinely a good movie.
Shout out to Australia.
Hey,
that was a good fucking movie, y'all. Like, that shit had me on the edge of my seat.
That's true. It was in Australia. I forgot it was an Australian movie.
Yes, it was actually filmed in Adelaide, which I only know what that town is because I had like a friend that used to live there, and I think one of our friends might. I don't know if our friend that is Australian currently lives in that town or somewhere else.
I can never remember. He tells me, but okay, that's cool.
So the thing about Australia, they don't have a ton of media. Like all my friends that live there mostly consume American media, but what they do have is not too bad. I mean, they have their own stuff, but you're not gonna. People aren't like, oh, let's go watch an Australian movie today. But I've seen a couple good shows. And so one thing is that my friends were saying, I was like, what is up with the culture? The vibe was very aggressive in this movie. Everyone's kind of a dick. And not to say at all that Australians are dickheads. That's not the vibe I'm going for here. But just to say, they said that the movie was very accurate to like teenagers of that time, how they talk, how they joke with each other, how they interact, and how I personally loved the idea of like teenagers doing lines of possession, essentially. Like, I thought that was so funny and so clever and like it executed beautifully. I still play the song that they took during their like big like party scene constantly. It's called Lamont by like Richard Carter, by the way. So look it up, folks. It's really good. It's a bop. I'm gonna get the hand also. I said that in the last podcast. It's pre-order, okay? I'm gonna get the hand and try it out. Also, I think it was
I forgot you told me that. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
A24's merch is no joke, folks. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was a really good movie. It hit all the boxes for me. I love that it was a new concept. Actors I had never seen before, but did a great job acting.
Very much a new concept.
Very believable.
Yeah, absolutely original.
Yeah. I feel like I have to give props for that because there are only so many new ideas you can have. And I feel like every day now it's like, oh, no one ever does anything new. And this was super new. Also, the gore was not okay. I say gore, but I wouldn't call it gore like Evil Dead. But
no, but it was gore. Though.
I was not ready. I wasn't ready for the scene that pops up. Anytime, like I can do gore if it's like if I see it coming, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But if it's like if you really scare me and like I'm like, oh, that's good stuff, you know.
when evil lurks, like, but we're gonna talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Anyway, this was definitely a bop. I feel like this movie is very similar to like probably Bodies, in that people are probably gonna like pass it up. Maybe not people, because I don't really know how the community in general feels about it, but they're going to be like, oh, it's a teen movie, oh, whatever. But I think it's really funny. It's really worth watching.
Yeah.
It has a good story, a really good fleshed out story. Good conclusion. Like, I thought it was really well done.
Character backstories and like character development and everything. Like, it was all very believable. Absolutely.
The producers and the directors that put the movie together put a lot of like hidden stuff in it. They had some references to Grease in there. They also apparently had a loose association with someone from the Babadook. Apparently, that's how they knew one of the characters that was in the movie. Who was it? Oh, well, yeah, that's how the director found the producer essentially. So, which I can kind of like honestly, I can kind of feel the not necessarily influence because it's really not that big of a thing, but just that kind of like they have the same mindset of talking about grief and kind of like how
my gosh.
I guess it never really goes away, but like I feel like a lot of these movies this year were really big on grief, which makes a lot of sense because we had so much grief in the past few years. But and it's such a good like horror topic because
absolutely
that's the biggest nightmare of all, folks.
Yeah, just mental health, basically. Yeah. Holy cow. And really, really real.
One last thing, I guess, or not really last thing, but like I can appreciate the way that they sort of tied in the ending. I don't want to say exactly what it was, obviously, but I think it was probably the best ending for that character, for that situation.
Yeah, because it wasn't even really sad. Like it was almost a little hopeful in a way. But we don't have to get into it because it definitely was like kind of a plot twist. Like it was like, oh wow, yeah,
definitely a little bit different. So I'm not saying it's for every single movie, but if nothing else on this list, that's probably one of my that's probably my best of the year.
I figured,
perhaps so. I think, good stuff.
Understandable. It was a good one, solid one.
Yeah,
we're such art hosts. Fucking
at this point, it's no joke. Do not come at us incorrect.
Period. Okay. The next movie that I want to mention, it's one that I haven't been seeing people talk about that much. I've seen little mentions of it. And there are kind of some bigger name. Well, I'm not going to say bigger name, but some actors and actresses in it that we've seen in horror adjacent things before. But the movie Totally Killer was like actually really cute. I honestly went into it fully not expecting to enjoy it at all. Like, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, it didn't seem like something that I would like. It seemed like a little bit of a teen scream, and I think in some ways it was, but it was like way enjoyable. So in the movie there's a lot of like 80s fan service because the main character goes back to the 80s to try to warn her mom about a killer that attacks her friends. And it's so cute because they actually did, and I obviously didn't like grow up in the 80s or whatever, but just from what I know about it, it felt very like authentic. It wasn't like over the top and costumey. Like all of it just looked really good. Like the fashion was really, really cute. The way like they touched on how the 80s like just did not care about like censorship and didn't care about like, so the main character goes in at one point and she's like, hi, I'm a foreign exchange student from and she's like trying to think of countries, and the lady's just like, here's your schedule. She doesn't give a shit. She's just like, anybody can come up in here and just go to school. Like, but and then also the music and everything, like it was really cool. I think that it was really, really fun. And I know that also a lot of like, especially Gen Zers and younger people are really into like 80s culture right now. So I think that's something that a lot of people would really enjoy. I will say there were some effects that were like really rough, like certain like killings and things like that probably were a little bit below budget, but it's fine. I don't mind. I grew up on the Sci-Fi Channel, so I can handle it. And also the main character Jamie is played by Kiernan Shipka, who plays Sabrina from the series Sabrina, and she did a really good job as the main character. She did a really good job as the troubled teen, and I thought it was just like a really funny and enjoyable movie. It's definitely a horror comedy, so if you're not into stuff like that, it's probably not for you, but if you don't mind something a little bit lighter, then I think you're gonna love this one.
It's just quirky and fun,
quirky and cute. This movie, me and Charlotte watched together, and I had started it while I was on tour, like earlier in the year. But I got to a scene that upset me so bad that I had to just stop it, and I had to wait until somebody would watch it with me. The movie I'm talking about is When Evil Lurks. If you're on Horror Talk at all, then you have seen people talk about this movie. This is always on anytime people talk about the scariest movies that they've seen or the scariest movies, especially of this year. This movie is always on that list. And I think rightfully so. I'm not like bragging or whatever, but it does take a lot to scare me. And this movie did make me uncomfortable. And not just because there was like jump scares or something loud or something dramatic or whatever, which there were a lot of dramatic scenes, but I think that it really touches a deep and dirty fear inside of you that just makes you feel gross and just makes you feel hopeless. I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought it was really cool that it was an Argentinian director as well, because like you'd never really hear about that as far as like being really popular in horror. He actually also made another movie called Terrified, which I want to watch, and that one's supposed to be good too. I think actually, Zoe, in that list that you posted of like some of the scientifically most scary movies, Terrified is like one of the top 10 that they like did the research on. Like people were terrified while watching Terrified. So yeah. Anyway, the director did a really incredible job. It's extremely grotesque. There are some scenes that are stomach turning and churning and disgusting. I really liked it. If you want something that is pretty dark and pretty heavy, I'd say probably go ahead and watch this one. It's pretty gross, pretty scary.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to what you said because it pretty much covers the movie. There's a lot of like symbolism and talk about like kind of birth and how possession can be sort of possessions and demons can be a form of birth and abortion. But it's also just a nasty movie. I wasn't so much scared as I was just disgusted.
Yeah,
like I looked away in disgust, more
disturbed.
Yeah, and it's very heavy. Like I didn't really look into it that much or knew what to expect. But not really a happy ending for everybody per se. So
I would say probably there is nothing happy about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure there were any. Well, I think the one guy pretty much calling everybody a motherfucker was pretty happy and funny. So if you thought that was funny.
Well, so the whole thing about like the movie is like, okay, like if characters like surviving is the most important thing to you, then like maybe okay, like you're like, yeah, that's a happy ending or whatever. But I think that there are far worse things than death that this movie illustrates. And so I do think that it is like your stomach definitely drops. There's no hope. It's like, this is horrible. Yes. This went terrible, and there's no like redemption from this.
If y'all could pick another movie to like compare that one to, what do you think you would go for? I was getting Wrong Turn vibes. But I feel like this was kind of hard to say.
Well, okay, so actually, if I could compare it to anything, I would compare it to probably the newer Evil Dead movies, just because of the nature of it. As far as like there is this form of like mass possession that just kind of spreads like wildfire. And as far as like the extreme gore and just the irreverence, that's what I would compare it to. But probably guys, if you're listening and you have any movies that reminds you of, let us know, because I will say that I do think it is very unique in nature. And another thing that people were mentioning is in a lot of possession movies, usually there is like a learning curve almost to the possession where people learn about it, and then they have to start looking into it, like what demon is causing this, or what is this, or what is this. In this movie, everybody already knows about it, so we're already past that. It's like there's this understanding that people already know there is some sort of like possession disease that basically spreads. So we don't have to waste any time in the movie doing that, and I appreciated that. I thought that was really cool, and I think that a lot of directors can kind of learn from that. Like, you don't need to have all this awkward backstory sometimes. It's okay to just jump right in.
And overall, I think it was, sorry, I know I'm kind of that was
No,
kind of
you're
like
good. You're good.
abrupt, but yeah, it was just a really good movie. Really good. Gonna keep an eye out for more Argentinian films, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I don't know. It really stuck with me. I can't really articulate why, I guess, but it just really kind of stuck with me. That'll probably be my number 2 good movie of the year, just because
Yeah,
I didn't really expect too much, and it ended up catching me
right.
and really catching my attention and really keeping a good story. So,
Yeah, I agree with you totally. It was way better than I expected. Not that I had low expectations, but
yeah,
I just enjoyed it way more than I thought I would.
yeah.
I think that we could probably move on to the movies that we were a little bit more meh about. So these are movies that we didn't necessarily dislike, but we didn't necessarily feel super, super moved or inspired by. Um, I was debating whether I should even include this one because everybody clowns me for it, but I did watch the new Five Nights at Freddy's. I felt like I had to because it was a very high
Yeah,
profile horror film
Yeah.
that came out
for
this year.
sure.
And I will say, while I was watching it, I didn't understand why it got so much hate until the animatronics actually came alive, and then I was like, okay,
Oh.
I see what the problem
Oh
is here.
no,
I see what the problem is here, and I will
corny.
say, I'm not going to get into this too much, but if you are into the series, if you're into the franchise, you're going to love the movie.
Mhm.
If you're not, you may. I don't know if you will. You might think if you already have a negative association with it, you're probably not going to like it. But if you are into the movie, or sorry, if you are into like the video game franchise, you're going to love the movie. They did a really good job as far as including a lot of information that only kind of like niche fans would know about it, I feel like. And
Oh,
also, the acting in it was maybe not the best, but I will say Josh Hutcherson did an incredible job. He did really, really good with the character, and give the character probably a lot more depth than it would have had if somebody else played him. And also, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. I literally talk about him like every episode. Oh my god, the one in Scream, and he's in Dragula 2 and SLC Punk. Why can't I remember his
Oh,
name?
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard is in it, and I love him in it. I feel like for him, this was probably more of like a funny role. Like he was just like, oh, how
Mhm.
funny my like kids or whatever like this. But it was cute to see him
I don't know. I'm one of those people that are not into the Five Nights at Freddy's
Mm-hmm.
anything. Like the game was really popular when I was a kid. I know everyone was playing it, and if
Yeah.
you got caught playing that shit, your ass was grass. Okay, but I
damn.
personally, I didn't watch the movie personally,
Mm-hmm.
but since I've heard that Matthew Lillard is in it, I might give it a shot.
I feel like you would be entertained by it. I
You
feel
think
like you would
so?
think it was like cute. I don't think that you'd be like, wow, this is an incredible movie, but I think that it'd be something that you wouldn't mind having on in the background while you're doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
I can
mean?
agree. I'll get behind that.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. It's an okay movie. I enjoyed it, but like I said, it's on my okay list because I think
Mm-hmm.
that probably the majority of people who aren't into the franchise wouldn't necessarily. So I'm not going to put that, any high up in the ranking or anything like that.
Right.
Another movie that I watched was a movie called No One Will Save You, which was, I don't remember where. Well, I think it was on Hulu or something.
Yeah.
What I'll say about it is that I love an alien movie. Um, However, I am a little tired of the alien, like literally the alien emoji look. Like that's just like the green alien with the big eyes and the like
Mm.
round. I feel like they could have done more rather than like I feel like for variety they just like made like some of them taller and some of them have longer arms and legs and stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe it didn't require as high a budget as like trying to have more variety. but that was whatever. That was just a bone that I have to pick with it. I will say that the movie was obviously inspired by Invasion of the Body Snatchers, just in my opinion. I would say this was if Body Snatchers was like a feel good movie. And also, this movie was set in like, it seemed like the 70s, which was around the time that Body Snatchers came out. So it just seems like it was really trying to go for that vibe. And then I will also say this is one of those movies that seemed like it was just like one extremely long chase scene, because the action kind of like didn't really stop very frequently. So I will say I do appreciate when a movie has ups and downs, and this kind of was just up the whole time. But I will say I thought the ending was cute, and that's why I have it on my okay list, because I feel like that kind of redeemed the movie a little bit, in my opinion. Scream 6 also came out this year. And that one was like earlier in the year, I feel like, because it feels like forever ago that I watched it. I love Melissa Barrera. I think that she has really grown on me a lot. I'm always like kind of averse to new characters in an existing franchise. But she's a great actress, and I think that her character was fleshed out really well. And obviously, do I need to say how much I love Jenna Ortega, and I love her character in this franchise as well. I also love that they changed the setting for this one so drastically to New York. I think that made it really cool and different. I definitely think it brought a freshness to the franchise that needed to be brought, because it's another one of those things where it's like everything has kind of felt like it's been done before, especially in this franchise. I mean, they have several movies out at this point. And I will also say that it's kind of hard for a Scream movie to do anything new with like a killer reveal at this point, because anything goes at this point. Like, we kind of know not to expect the person that you think you should expect, like they've kind of surprised us in every way that they could have within one of the earlier movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I feel like it's been such a long time since I saw the movie as well. Like, it was good. I liked the story. Also, I'm a big fan of like the girlies and having a new generation, kind of keeping the story going. But it wasn't like super memorable, super like, wow, this was the movie of the year for me.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. It was definitely,
kind of came and went compared to other movies. So
right, that's what I will say. That's kind of why it's on my okay list as well. Is it's not like doing anything like super new and interesting, but it is a little bit more fresh. So I didn't hate it, but I'm not like, wow, that movie was incredible. I agree with you. It wasn't like the most memorable for me, and not just because I saw it earlier in the year.
Yeah. So I have two other movies that I saw that I feel like would probably just be best to put in this category, because they weren't like the worst, but they weren't necessarily very well known or super good. So one I didn't realize was classified as a horror was Knock at the Cabin. That was an M. Night oh god, this part is
Shyamalan, yeah.
Shyamalan. Oh, my mouth is a little say the words. Shyamalan movie. Anyway, it had my bae, Jonathan Groff, in it. It also had a guy, Dave Bautista. I see him in a lot of movies, but I didn't know what his name was, but he's in it.
Dave Bautista, the wrestler?
Wait, are you talking about that movie where they're like, the apocalypse is coming?
Yep.
I didn't see that one. I've been
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good. It was good. It was like that's why I don't understand why it's called a horror. It wasn't really that scary per se.
Really?
Right.
But it really was mostly, it was basically like a big allegory for the apocalypse. Like, Jonathan Groff's character and this other character are like this couple. They have their little daughter. They're at a cabin, and like this guy knocks on the door, and he's like, you got to kill your daughter. It's going to be the end of the world, basically. And the whole movie is them like trying to convince this couple to sacrifice their family.
I like Dave Bautista.
Yeah, I didn't see he was. I think he was also in Knives Out. I think.
Oh, was he?
Well,
you know he's
Filipino.
Filipino.
Of a different small ball guy.
Did you know that?
And I didn't. I didn't know. I should have. I didn't know. I thought he was too cool for words.
Yeah, so, I love him.
So yeah, I would say it was good. I watched the whole thing. I enjoyed it. It had like a nice ending, but it wasn't like, again, it wasn't like a big, huge, whatever, like amazing movie. I think it went straight to like, I don't know, not Tubi, but like not anything like big or anything, but it was good to see. I wouldn't say like you have to go see it, but if it comes on and you're like, oh, it's a rainy day, need a movie.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out.
I wouldn't regret watching it.
I've been seeing something about it as well,
right?
I don't know what it's on.
That's the one I don't have.
Oh man.
I think it probably was Hulu, because I don't remember where I would have seen it.
I cannot get another Hulu.
Just use mine, but mine has the ad, so I don't know. It's not worth it.
Gotta hear that. Okay, I don't mind.
1 out of 10 men deals with dysfunction. Like, shut up.
Why is it always the mental health ads? Our algorithm is just
no, actually, I was looking it up. This is gonna be a whole tangent. I was looking up on Reddit. First, Hulu's just diabolical. Okay, first of all, they make the volume of their ads louder than the actual show, so you have to like run and turn the volume up and down. And then yeah, it's always psychotic shit that no one wants to do because they want you to subscribe. But I'm not doing that because who would pay for that for real?
Okay, wait, I'm so sorry. I know this is off topic, but that I refuse to sign up for Threads on Instagram, and they always show me the most inflammatory Threads posts to try to get me to click them. I'm like, nope. No, thank you.
Y'all tried
You're not fooling me. You're not fooling
me.
I'm not the one. I'm not the one.
What the fuck is Threads anyways?
It's like Twitter, right?
Yeah, it's like the Twitter rival, but no one's really on there, and Twitter didn't die.
Okay.
So
yeah,
we all need to go outside for 2024.
Probably, yeah. That's my New Year's resolution: is leave my house.
Yeah,
man. So my other movie, I just watched yesterday, but It Lives Inside, and I thought it was very, very cute. It's by the same people that did Get Out, but like I was telling you earlier, I don't really know what that means. Like, obviously, this was not a Jordan Peele film, but I'm assuming it was still from the same like production house. Neon took it over at one point. It debuted at South by Southwest. So another 2024 goal is to go to a film festival, whether it's South by Southwest, Sundance, something. That's where the big heavy hitters came out. Talk to Me premiered at one. This movie premiered at one. Usually A24 has something up in there, so their midnights are always worth it. Anyway, so this movie was about an Indian American girl, Sam. Her real name is like, I don't want to butcher how you say it, but it's like Samita. And she has her friends, Tamara, and they're like going to high school together. Tamara comes to her and she's like, hey, I have a big problem. And she has like this black jar of something in it. And
bad
Sam,
sign.
Yeah, I know, right? It didn't come to you with a jar, man. Sam, what I thought was interesting, and maybe this is all going to sound super just like blue hair right now, but I thought it was cool that like, I don't always expose myself to media from other cultures. I do try to, because I try to have a diverse insight, but I don't always get a chance to. So it was very cool for this whole perspective of the movie to essentially be from Sam's perspective as an Indian American girl, like as a dicey girl growing up in the US. She is like rebuking this girl that's trying to like reach out to her for help and be like, I don't want to deal with this. You know, I'm not that girl. I'm not that kind of brown. And the whole movie ends up her kind of like leaning back into her brown culture, and that ends up kind of like resolving the issue. And
that's
like,
awesome.
her issues with her mom come together. And I guess the monster that they end up facing, because in the jar was like a monster that gets released and like has to be battled against. I believe that monster is like, it's a demonic spirit called a Pishash. I don't know the lore of that. I should have looked it up, I guess, prior to mentioning it. But
it's like a real thing. Like a real actual cultural
story
thing
behind it.
Oh,
the mom like had a chant for it. It was very cool. I thought it was great to have representation. Like, obviously I love seeing Black people in movies, but I also would love to see more Indian, more Southeast Asian, more just like all over people in movies. So also it was a very cute like coming of age story as well. I did think like her love interest, girl, I didn't see it for him like at all. Like he was just a dusty like there was a moment where they were just chilling on a park bench together, just talking, and she's like having a heartfelt conversation about how she feels about struggling with like her identity and all this stuff. And the guy just like kisses her, and he was like, "Is that okay?" No. And of course she's like, "Yeah, that's cool." Then he pulls out a joint, and he's like, "Only if you're cool, though." I'm like, "Is this supposed to be romantic? What is this?" It was too.
I
weird.
hate him.
I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but he ends up like getting croaked pretty quick. So I guess he wasn't like supposed to be integral to the story. But
maybe you weren't supposed to like him.
Yeah, I guess not. But then later they're like, "Oh, you know, anyone that tries to help her dies." And I'm like, he didn't do anything. He was just there. What?
Girl, the bar is in hell.
At least the mom called it out. She was like, "Why are you trying to be white so bad?" Girl. It was funny as hell. No, but it just sounds so messy. It was really a good story overall, though, too. It was a very well done movie.
Yeah.
It was all realistic, all relatable. I liked having insight into other cultures, like I said a million times now. It's worth checking out. This is what I mean about Hulu movies. They're never like 10-10, wow, best movie of the year. Like, I just don't think they ever lean into it. But they're good enough that you watch it and you're like, okay, I'm glad I watched it.
And you think about it a little bit, maybe for a few minutes after.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's up.
Exactly.
That's pretty sick.
So those are my two little outsiders.
As there are things that go really well, there are things that go not so well. So we do have some movies that we weren't super crazy about this year. And just want to like say first and foremost, what we don't like may not be the same thing as what you don't like. So, and that's okay. That's fine. You probably did not like some of the movies that we talked about that we liked. And you're probably going to like some of the movies that we didn't like. So without further ado, I was really shocked that I didn't like this one, actually. I thought that at the very least, I would like it a little bit, but I didn't like it at all. I'm going to be totally honest. The new Exorcist movie, Exorcist Believer, didn't like it at all. In fact, the entire time I was like, I'm not enjoying this. Like the entire time I watched it. I will say that things go from 0 to 60 like right away. And I think that was such a huge oversight in my opinion, because and I know that it's a new movie. It's not going to be the same as the original, but there do have to be some key elements that are reminiscent of the originals, in my opinion. And what made the original Exorcist such a shame, like the reason that the plot was such a shame, was because we really mourn the loss of Reagan's humanity. It kind of happens gradually, where she slowly and slowly becomes less and less of like a what was she like a 12-year-old girl, and more of a demon. And I think that's what makes it so sad, is like you still see these little glimpses of a child and you feel horrible for the suffering that she's going through. And this new one, it's literally like overnight. Like the girls go from being like, oh, super sugary, sweet girls, until the next day they're literally like the yellow contacts are in and their like skin is fucked up, and they're like over the top. And you could tell that it was probably the kind of thing where the directors were like, all right, now go crazy. And it was like, yeah, you did a great job of being crazy, but you didn't do very much a good job of being a little girl. And that was such a huge part of the role, in my opinion. And I also felt like they expanded way too much on like the exorcism process and not enough about like their just like lives. And then by the time that it felt like things started actually moving with the movie, like by the time it seemed like things were starting to happen, the movie was like almost over. So I'm assuming probably what's going to happen is they're going to try to maybe do another one. I'm not sure, but I really was just not crazy about it, to be honest.
I think that's fair. I think as someone who's obviously seen the other movies, like you
Yeah.
know what you're talking about. Yeah, but I think it's reasonable to be like, yeah, this was rushed. I personally didn't see it. Really I didn't really have a draw to see the newest one because I haven't seen the old one in a long time, but that's probably not a good thing either, that I wasn't like, oh shit, I need to go see this movie.
For sure. You don't have to see like the originals to like want to see a newer movie. Like I didn't see every single Insidious. Well, I think actually I did. No. I saw like the ones that were like Insidious 1, 2, and 3 or whatever, but I didn't see like The Last Key or something like that. But I still enjoyed the newest movie, you know, and it was still something that I was like kind of like excited to see. Whereas I don't know. I don't feel like people were super excited for the new Exorcist movie, and it felt like they did a lot of promotion for it. So it's kind of like, why did there's so much promotion, but people still really aren't talking about it.
Right.
Yeah. That's just my personal opinion. What were y'all's like least favorite movies that came out this year?
I wouldn't say that this is like, I'm not gonna say it's the least favorite because I haven't even finished it yet, but the one that was okay. So my movie is gonna be Beau is Afraid for this category because I watched it, I started it. I think a lot of people did not like it. I kind of figured when I stopped hearing a lot about it, and then also I don't even think Ari Aster, because it's by Ari Aster, my bae personally. Although I think a lot of people are like, this dude is just sucking his own dick now, which was basically, sorry, that's crazy to say, but that was basically everyone's review for this movie. Like it was obviously him trying way too hard. I don't know if I agree with that. I still liked what it was. So the best way I can describe the movie is like if all of your like craziest, most out there anxious thoughts were manifested in reality, but it wasn't like you were wishing it happening. It was just like as you're going through life, they really were true, and like it really is as bad as you think it all is.
Yeah.
Like there was a scene where the main character Beau, so the whole movie in one line is this guy Beau is trying to go visit his mom, and somehow that gets extrapolated into this extreme, surreal, anxiety-inducing adventure. And I will say that I think it achieved its goal as far as making you super anxious and experiencing like what it's like to be an anxiety-inducing nightmare. I think I would have been even more afraid if I wasn't currently managing my anxiety at this time of my life. But so, for example, there was a scene where the main character, he lives in like the shittiest neighborhood, which is crazy for someone who's like anxious. It was actually kind of funny when he's like walking down the hallway. The art in the movie is ridiculous. Like the graffiti on the walls is like it's like this guy peeing in his own mouth, and this like poem that's like
Jesus.
drugs are cool, F school, there's no hope, F the Pope. Like it's just and of course it's like fully written out, so it's ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's like walking across the street to go get something from the store, and the guy in the store is like being psychotic. He's like, "Oh, I already called the police. I called the cops." So he's just trying to pay for something, and the guy's like, "Oh, they're on the way. You got to give all your money right now." And he's like trying to pay for it. And it's like it's supposed to manifest the anxiety you feel when you're checking out, and you're like trying to give them money, and they're like, "Hurry up!" This guy's like, "You got to pay, or we're calling the cops." And
I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is happening, and then in the background, like, I guess he left his door unlocked while he ran across the street to go do that.
So somebody's robbing him.
Like, not even robbing, like there's like homeless people outside, but there's like just a couple. But then at some point, like an entire swarm is like entering his apartment, and they just like destroy the place, going crazy. And also the homeless people, these are not like your downtrodden regular folks. It's like naked dudes that are just like stabbing people in the streets, and like some guy's getting his eyes like it. Girl, at that point in the movie, I was like, what am I actually watching? Is this actually happening? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Again, if I have to look shit up, it's not really doing what it's supposed to be doing, okay? So I had to look up like what is going on in this movie. And that's when I like saw that, okay, it is real.
Right.
Like, the things that are happening are really happening, but this is from the perspective of someone who's like super anxious, I guess was the point.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like a movie like that doesn't need to be 3 hours to get the point across, and it's 3 fucking hours. So.
That's exactly why I didn't watch it, because I was trying to like get everything together this week, and that movie I was just like, I want to watch it, I want to, but I just don't know if I can. Like that is I don't know. And
Man.
but I did hear like a lot of hype about it, but then that was kind of like it, like just the hype, but not really much of the aftermath. I will say, just from what you're describing, and I could be completely wrong because I haven't seen it, but it sounds a lot like Mother. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't actually seen it, but I remember when it came out, people were very controversial about it. So I like read what it was about.
Oh my gosh.
It's like about kind of like creation and stuff, right? Like the mom like symbolizes.
Yeah.
For the
most part,
yeah. It, so.
It, in my opinion, is one of the best like newer horror movies that's like come out. It's like it literally is anxiety inducing the entire time. Like the entire time, it's just like, why are you doing this to this woman? She doesn't deserve it. It's I mean, this movie is so good. So I know that that's not a 2023 movie, but highly recommend if you want a movie that's just there's like chaos all the time and it's very anxiety inducing. Mother is definitely that movie. And also, in my opinion, the kind of roles that Jennifer Lawrence should be doing.
I know. I was very excited to see her in a different light. I was like, okay, girl.
Yeah, she did a really good job. Yeah, it's amazing. We can wait. I mean, if you want, we can even watch it together next time you're here. But I highly recommend. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I think that someone said that this is gonna be one of like Ari Aster's weird films, which I think they said that every director has a weird film. We'll have to do an episode about that if you think other directors do, because I don't know.
Yeah, like
I definitely think.
Well, not flops, but
sorry,
like one-offs by certain directors. Let us know if you think that'd be interesting to hear about, because that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, like experimental takes and stuff, because everyone has like the movie they do that's kind of like, why did you do this? What's going on?
Right.
I thought that Hereditary was good. I thought Midsommar was good. You know, I thought that I don't necessarily know if Ari Aster did this, but I thought that oh my god, Zola's Story was good. I don't know. I actually just looked up his filmography, but this movie it wasn't bad. It did what it was supposed to do, but I mean, obviously it was like a commercial failure. Like I think the budget was like 35 million. It only made like 11 million. So,
wow.
You know, it was like not good. I think he did interviews where he was like, yeah, I'm not sure why people didn't give this movie a chance. Well, first of all, again,
3 hours
movie,
is a lot.
I mean, I remember like The Irishman, people were like, oh yeah, I'm going to go see this. But like, girl, like I have a good attention span.
Girl, you're not Batman,
movie. Yeah, 3 hours. You really have to be doing it big. Like something, you know, for me to sit there. Man, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
But besides that, I think it's just, I think you don't want to watch it. Like, why would you choose to have a panic attack? You know, like no one would want to do that. So I feel like it's hard I don't know if I would say it was good enough to watch. I don't know if I'd recommend or not. Yeah, it's one of the movies that I wouldn't necessarily recommend to anybody, but that's not because it was bad. It's just not a good time.
I get it.
That's my idea of the movie.
Cool, that works for me. Yeah. So, did you have a particular movie that you weren't like super crazy about this year? I feel like you're very open-minded, though. I feel like you kind of like see the good in everything a little bit. Honestly, this was like a decent year for horror, in my opinion. I know that Char doesn't necessarily agree, but that's also because last year was like such a banger, though. Last year was a really good year for horror movies, because that was like X and didn't X and Pearl come out in the same year, which is insane.
I think so.
X and Pearl, and what else had came out last year that was like
Skinamarink.
It did, technically,
that's not necessarily a good one, but it did come out last year.
Well, it was just a barrage of horror movies that came out in 1 year, and it was a lot of like really good ones.
Yeah, actually, I'm like looking this up now.
Yeah.
But because I was looking, I wanted to compare last year to this year, but also, so for example, like Bones and All came out.
Right.
The Long Night, Nanny, Pearl, did come out. Amma, which I don't think you ever ended up watching it, but that was the
I don't think I did.
Asian American horror on Netflix. Yeah. They/Them came out, which also you didn't watch, but that was like the NV horror.
I didn't have Netflix for like an entire year, so anything that came out on Netflix, I did not watch. Oh yeah.
Yeah, same.
Period.
Yeah,
basically,
we don't fuck with Netflix.
Right.
Not to like go off on a tangent, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like a bunch of other movies came out in 2022.
Right.
I feel like also just comparatively, this is based on Wikipedia, so if I'm wrong, fight me. And also, a lot of movies right now are like multi-genre, like so going strictly off of horror. There were 86 horror movies this year and 113 last year. So
quite a bit more
for American anyway.
Well, as far as like big feature films,
yeah,
because there's always, of course, there's always a bunch of like indie stuff coming out at any given time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, indie films, international films. I was gonna say that there's a lot of things that haven't been counted, but as far as like big mainstream U.S. movies that premiered for 2023, there were like 86, and of them, many of them were like. We're pretty much just like, I don't know, kind of like very out there or very like
experimental.
I'm looking now and realizing there were actually a lot of movies that were like Indian or Asian that came out. So this was kind of a big year for Asian American.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Maybe we must have been sleeping on that.
Well, this is like a movie that, and we were trying to watch this. Speaking of Asian American, the Filipino movie In My Mother's Skin. That's what it's called. It's on Prime Video, so it's if you have a Amazon Prime subscription, you have it. It's supposed to be really disturbing and really unsettling, and I want to watch it so bad. I just didn't get to. I'm upset. I needed time to myself. I just could not literally be spending every day of the past like week watching movies. But it's supposed to be really, really good. A lot of people have said great things about it, and also like I'm really excited to see like Filipino horror. Obviously, I grew up watching a lot of Filipino movies, but the horror movies were really not great for the most part. They either just had like copious amounts of like essay like content for whatever reason, or they were like copies of like American movies. So they had like a Filipino version of The Shining that was just awful. And like so I remember stuff like that. But we haven't seen really interesting and artsy a lot of really interesting and artsy like horror come from the Philippines lately, so I definitely want to check that out, and I assume that I'm gonna love it, but I'll be able to talk about that probably the next episode.
This is a great way to like kind of segue into movies that we didn't see for 2023 but wanted to. That's what you wanted to do.
That was mine for sure.
One for me that I didn't even think of until this episode, so it's almost phony to even bring it up now, but
bring it up.
There was a movie I remember seeing trailers for it, but I never heard anything else, so I didn't follow it up. But apparently a Nigerian horror movie came out called Mami Wada this year, and it was like a black and white movie, came out at film festivals. Don't know a ton about it yet, but it's definitely going on my list, like just off principle alone, you know what I mean? And it was pretty well received. There's just not a whole lot of information about it. Like it's just a fantasy. But
you'll have to send me some of that so I can look into it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll send it to you. But other than that, I think honestly I did mostly see all the movies I wanted to see this year. The only other ones I didn't ever get a chance to get to was that Winnie the Pooh movie that came out. I don't think that even that like bubbled on our radar.
I forgot about that.
I thought about it, you know.
I'll put it on.
I thought it might be fun.
If it's free.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
It's probably on Tubi or Tubi, like Shudder or something, Yes,
if it's on Tubi, we will clock in and check it out. Do you think Cocaine Shark is a horror?
No.
Because apparently, I mean, it's showing up on this list, so I didn't think it was either. But I guess when people are getting eaten up by sharks, I guess that's just automatically horror.
I don't know, because I do consider like, what's that one with the chick from Skins, but it was in like Florida with the like alligators and shit, or the crocodiles? I kind of consider that to be a horror movie, because I do Because technically they could be like, an animal, like a creature feature or something. But I feel like those like cocaine shark, like Sharknado type of shit is just like strictly science fiction in my opinion, which is fine. We could still mention them, but.
Oh, well, I only brought it up because I'm like, it just was on the list of 2023 horror, but I don't know if that really counts. Other than that, I think we pretty much saw all the big ones, or between the three of us. As far as I go, I think I knew I was never going to end up seeing Saw. Unfortunately, I don't think starting with X is the first one for you to go to.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, I think if I was ever going to watch Saw, it would have happened by now, you know?
I think that if you should watch Saw, you should just watch the first. I like this. I love it. In fact, I think the second one is probably my favorite. But I think if you watch any of them, you should probably watch the first one because it's the least gory, in my opinion.
Okay.
And it's more so like, I mean, there's still gore. It's Saw, but I feel like a lot of the gore is like almost implied in a way. It's not just literally like some girl like chopping her own leg off. So it's I mean they're chopping things off, but it's not really, you know, it's not that bad. Anyway, long story short,
that's fair.
How about movies for 2024 that are coming out? We were talking about some that we're excited to see. There's a ton. I think that next year is going to be a really big year for horror, in my opinion. I'm hoping
all the way back around.
Absolutely. So the one that we've been talking about a lot that we're really excited for, we're all excited for this, is Maxine is coming out. So I think that one, I don't remember exactly when. Yeah, I think they might have said like March or something.
I actually don't think they've. Maybe I need to do research, but I feel like they haven't even put out a release date yet.
Well, all I know is that they said it was going to be in 2024.
Bro, it's 2024. Where's it at? Hello?
I know, but they did. They came out with a movie, like a new movie poster for it and stuff and everything. Yeah, like that was like within the past like week. No, I mean it wasn't. It was kind of like more recently, but I think they've been waiting for it.
Caught in 4K.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm also really excited for Terrifier 3. That movie has really been gaining traction, and it's incredible. It's been like the most beautiful. Like I know it sounds so dramatic, but it's been like such a Cinderella story because it seems like the first one was very low budget, just did really, really like overwhelmingly well, and then the second one did really well as well, and people are really looking forward to the next one coming out. So I'm definitely gonna check that one out when it comes out.
I'm really excited for I don't know if y'all heard, but they have a new Nosferatu movie coming out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Bill Skarsgård. Okay, you could have not picked a perfect candidate for that role. Like, I'm so excited. It's supposed to come out December 25th.
Oh, I hate that it's at the end of the year, but
I know.
I might as well be next year.
Anya Taylor-Joy though too, and we love our girl Anya Taylor-Joy. And isn't Willem Dafoe supposed to be in it as well?
Willem Dafoe.
I love Willem Dafoe. Okay, I have a sick
100%
obsession with that man, so I'm excited that he's going to be in it as well. Yeah, isn't it
Lily
Robert
Rose
Eggers?
Depp is in it?
Oh, I thought it was Anya Taylor-Joy.
No,
or is she also
it's Lily Rose Depp? She's playing Ellen.
Oh, that's true. That's
crazy. Nicole Kidman.
I mean, that's sick. I love her.
Love her. We love her. That's a queen right there.
Also, it's Robert Eggers, right? Directing it. Oh, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing.
I can't wait.
Also, I know Zoe in particular is excited about this one, and I am too. The Strangers Chapter 3 is coming out, I think, in like the summer or something.
May, I think. Yeah,
something like that. That's going to be amazing. That's going to be so good. I'm excited. I am excited that they're kind of doing like a mini series with it too. I think it's like 3.
Yeah, it's like 3 chapters.
Yeah, so that is going to be like. That's going to be really cool. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Are there any movies from 2024 that any of you guys listening are looking forward to? Let us know because sometimes it's hard to like keep up with everything. There's 1,000,001 things coming out at any given time. Tell us what your most anticipated movie of 2024 is. Horror movie, that is. I mean, you could tell us other stuff too, but we may not care or know what that is. So tell us what you're most excited for.
Not to make this segment any longer than it is, but just to add, I'm super pumped for A Night Swim just because I love that idea.
Yeah.
Haunted pool as a girly who did not like swimming. It's gonna be cool. Oh my god. Help! Love Lies Bleeding by I don't know who it's by actually, but it's gonna have Kristen Stewart in it playing a queer character living her queer dreams, being a mafia queen. So loving that. Not mafia queen, but in a crime family. So that's pretty exciting.
That's so cool.
I didn't realize I know. I didn't realize that the Quiet Place franchise continues to expand, by the way. So, I think I already talked about that, but I just didn't realize it kept growing and growing like that. So I am excited for the next one that's going to come out in that series. And also this movie called, I actually do like them. Like, I know that you probably are not into it.
It's not that I just don't know what it is. I cannot sit through it. Like, I literally fall asleep every time. It's just not stimulating.
Is it too quiet?
Yes.
Is it too quiet?
Yes. I literally tried to watch both of them multiple times and have never been able to finish it. And when I say multiple times, I mean I tried to watch the first one like 3 times and the second one like 3 or 4 times, and I've never finished them.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm an iPad kid.
I mean, no, I get it though. I really do. And honestly, it's not like it's like, it almost feels like a forced franchise. Like, I feel like they could have done the first one and been done. Like, I'm not really sure why it's becoming a thing, but I'm not mad about it. Like, they're okay. So I like them, but
for sure.
There's also this movie called The Watchers that's supposed to be coming out too. I think it's gonna be kind of.
Is that related to The Watcher? There's like a movie called. Well, there's a movie called The Watcher as well. And
there was a show too that was like
right.
Watcher. So I thought it was, but it's like another Shyamalan film, so that should be exciting.
I love Shyamalan, so that'll be really exciting.
And one more that I don't know anything about, but I think it sounds so cute just from the idea alone, is the Horoscopes movie, which, if you said already, don't punch me in the face.
What?
But,
no horoscopes.
No, it's gonna be another teeny bop. I guess I'm really into teen horror. I guess we can just note that. But
that's cool.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
A bunch of kids start dying from murders based around their horoscopes,
and
their friends have to put the clues together to figure it out.
That sounds like a cute little Netflix one.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be straight to Netflix, but that'll be coming out later too. So I think 2024 is going to be a great year for fun.
I think so too.
Horror again.
I think so too. I'm looking forward to it. There were some that we're really anticipating for a while that are supposed to come out then. So fingers crossed. Yes. I think we're going to have a busy year. We'll have a lot to talk about. All right, guys. So those were our picks from 2023, the best, the okayest, and the worst, unfortunately. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with us on any of these? Do you disagree? We'd like to hear that too. Just be respectful. Tell us your thoughts, guys. As usual, if you have any ideas or any suggestions for podcast episodes, you can email us at terrortakeoverpod@gmail.com. We check it sometimes, but we don't really get a lot of mail yet. So excuse us if we take a day or two to get to your to get back to your email. As usual, thank you guys so much for your support, and we will see you next week. Bye. It's time for Terror Trivia. Hey guys, we're back with another trivia question. Which of the following is false about the movie Insidious: The Red Door? A, it's directed by the actor who plays the character Josh Lambert. B, there is something red in every scene of the movie. C, the film was deemed a success by critics and filmgoers alike. Or D, the film doesn't actually show the red door at any point. Which of the following is false? Do you know the answer yet? The correct answer is C. The film was deemed a success by critics and filmgoers alike. Now, that one's false because although 72% of filmgoers enjoyed the movie and gave it a positive score, critics weren't as impressed, citing that the Insidious series as a whole is beginning to lose its luster. What do you think?